All right. Okay, you. And my microphone's working. Yeah. All right, you are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the cellar dweller 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. And why are the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. They lost the Super Bowl because they suck. Philadelphia sucks. Rolls right off the tongue there, folks. Philadelphia sucks. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all this evening going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening? I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. If anybody spends hey, what's up, Jersey guys? Hey. If anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away, throw in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box, every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So that as soon as I see something in there, let's talk some football. That's it, brother. That's what we're here for. So also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour or whatever, it's nice just to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free, fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon, second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third one's called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, I thank you in advance, and it would mean the world to me. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed, thank you. And then finally, in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. And I say this in every video, basically my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, my Facebook page, it's all called like the same thing. It's the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It dumbs it down for a moron like me. That way I don't have to, what's my page called? Was the group called something different than the YouTube? It's all called the same thing. It just dumbs it down for me. So what are we at? We're at 4,300 members in the group. And usually what I do is once I get done going live, I'll usually spend like the next couple hours or so just putting stuff in the group and the Facebook page, which I'll go over in a minute. And I try to get like at least 10 things every day in there. And usually it's, I can get it, whether I'm just sharing an article, putting something up, just show some stats on a ball player, whether it's a video, a post, a picture, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites, right? I'm getting usually 10 things in there every day. And if I got internet access, it's 7 days a week. It's darnly almost 365 days a year. There's not many days at all that I'll go in a whole year without putting something in a group, even in the middle of the, like whatever, May and June was like nothing really going on. But if you become a member, not only do I put stuff in there, but members put stuff in there as well, too. So, I mean, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in there every day. The second Facebook link takes you to my Facebook page. Once again, it's called the same thing. It's called the New York Giants Gridiron, but it's my page. I'm the administrator, so I'm the only one that posts anything in there. But it's the same thing, usually, as soon as I'm done going live here, I'll between the group and the page, I try to split the stuff up. So if I come up with 24 different things, I'll put 12 in one and 12 in the other. If I come up with 20 things, I'll put 10 in one and 10 in the other. I just try to split stuff up there. As I said, so I mean, whether it's a video, I'm sharing an article, a post, a picture, just once again, something just showing some stats on a ball player. Once again, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites, right? What are we at? It's really doing simply marvelous. We have over 2,500 likes on the page, but I noticed this last season too. It was almost like every day or every other day I was getting like another 100 followers. So I'm up to 7,500 followers now. It's really doing really, really well. It's really taken off very well. And I don't commingle the stuff either, right? Meaning, the stuff that I put for the most part in the page, I don't put in the group. Whatever I put in the group, I don't put in the page. I just try to keep the stuff separate. Unless I see something that really makes fun of the Eagles, then I just want to share that with everybody, right? But I mean, for the most part, I just try to keep stuff separate. So if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it and you go to the group and you become a member, pretty much 365 days a year, there's a ton of stuff going in there every day. And some people always are not, maybe not happy, not satisfied. So like I said, it's in every video, right? If you go to the page and you like it and you follow it and you go to the group and you become a member, if you're not 100% satisfied, you get your money. You get your money back guaranteed. How do you join? Oh, let me see here. Well, in the there should be in the Facebook. Well, let me see. Can I click the link here? And that's the page. Well, here it is. This is for the. There should be 2 links in the. Let's see. Here we go. Boom. See if this works. Damn. That's the link for the page. And then let me get the group up there. Whoops. All right. This is the link for and here's the link for the group. And let's see, that's the page. Okay. And this will be the link. That's for the group. Take it right there. Become a member. Come on in. We got plenty of room. All right. So I saw this here. I mean, it says Joe Schoen assembled. It says the pieces for sustainable Giants core that could last. Yeah. I mean, he didn't. I don't know. I say assembled. I mean, he's not the one that drafted any of these guys. I mean, they're kind of talking about he's who is this from the New York Post? I mean, it's a great article, but I mean, it's like he didn't so much, draft Daniel Jones or Sexy Dexy or Andrew Thomas, and hopefully, sadly, we couldn't get nothing done with Saquon, but he tried, right? But he's locking them in, and that's nice to see, because a lot of times, how many times you see in the past, right? You see a GM and a coach and whatever, they come in and they're like, these ain't my guys. How fast can we get rid of these guys? The guy's all right, but I mean, he ain't my guy. I'm not sinking or swimming with this. I'm not sinking with this guy. I bring him in. You know what I mean? So it's nice to see, and they did try with Saquon for whatever reason. It didn't work out, but at least he's bringing in, and it's trying to keep some guys. He brought Slayton back for at least 2 years, So, and of course, I mean, I would be shocked if he's not extending Evan Neal in a couple years. And I would be, unless they get injured. And of course, we don't want to talk about that. Once again, I would be shocked if he's not extending Kayvon in a couple years. You know what I mean? And the beauty of that, both those guys, we got him for 5th. You pick up the 5th-year option, right? So we have the 4th year, right? It's all guaranteed money for him. Pick up the 5th year, all guaranteed money for him. Then you extend them like what we're doing with Andrew Thomas here. So Andrew Thomas, we got him till 2029. So I'm going to go over his contract. Patty Traynor she went over. I was listening to her. She's perfect for me. She really dumbs this stuff down. You know what I mean? So she's really good. Speak slowly, right down my alley, But it says here, was the first week of Giants training camp, including much conversation about the core, triggered by the news of day one that Andrew Thomas was locked into a new contract through the 2029 season. Think about that. The 2023 season remains more than a month away from kickoff, and the Giants know they have their left tackle secured for 7 more seasons. That's freaking just that just. That almost just, just like, that's just like, if I try to think about that too much, literally, my brain would just literally erupt. So I don't want to try to focus on that too much. We got this freaking dude for 7 more years. Oh my God. Wow. And then we're talking about Neal too. Between the two of them, hopefully we're going to have, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, of just unbelievable, really good quality tackle play. I mean, then you throw Schmitz in there if he can, be kind of, for the most part, what we think he might wind up being. I mean, we got 3 young, nice studs there for the offensive line. And now all we have to do is, for the foreseeable future, and all we can do is we got to find like 2 more guards, whatever we're going to do with Glowinski, whatever. But I mean, if Zudu can make the run at the left guard, maybe Bredesen wins out there. I mean, who knows? But if one of the guys on the roster right now can become whatever, the right guard or the left guard of the future, cool. Then we're down to 1. I mean, can how many years are we just pulling our hair out? We don't have a center. We don't have a tackle. We just paid Nate Solder $7 trillion, and he's like a revolving door. They hike the ball, and the edge rusher just runs around them. And, how many years? Oh, my God. Then of course, we drafted Hernandez. I could go on and on and on. And Hernandez did really nice his rookie season. But then, of course, now he's, I think with the Cardinals still. I mean, just. Anyway, so we got Daniel Jones contractually bound through 2026. Okay, so 2023 hasn't even started yet, so that's comforting. Sexy Dexy's locked in through 2027. Gotta love that, right? That is a quarterback, defensive tackle, and Andrew Thomas. So I mean, so you have like one. You got the quarterback, which is huge, right? Even though he's only for 4 more seasons, but that's good. But we have somebody on the offensive line, we have somebody on the defensive line, right? So we're starting. That's a lot of it's in the trenches. General Manager Joe Schoen made the recommendations, and the Giants wrote deals to. This is over a third of a bill. That's with a B, $1 billion to those 3 guys. Unbelievable. Now that's not all guaranteed, but still, deals totaling $367.5 million for those 3 guys. Co-owners John Mara and Steve Tisch shelled out on the spot signing bonuses of $73 million, funneled directly into the bank accounts of Mr. Jones, Mr. Lawrence, and Mr. Thomas. And no one said says continuity comes cheap. Nope, no, it don't. Especially in this day. And guess what? It's only going to get more expensive. So it shows the belief that the organization has in us and the hard work that we put in to earn that, Lawrence says. I'm excited because things like that build confidence in a person. Yep. The more confidence we have, the better the team will be. Yep. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There is no doubt these signings with these long-term commitments shine like a beacon to the young players on the roster, which is true. I mean, they're looking up. I mean, maybe, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Evan Neal, there you go. He's looking over what Andrew Thomas got. Right now, he's got a ways to go to become Andrew Thomas's level, but even if he's, I don't know, even if I'm just saying Andrew Thomas is a 9, say Evan Neal comes in at an 8 in a couple years. Is that horrible? No. So maybe he won't get quite what Andrew Thomas is, but if you got a right tackle and he's up there, you can see what he could possibly get. And you're looking like this too. If you're looking a few years, right? I mean, if Andrew Thomas is getting 23 million, was it 23 and a half? I think it was on average. But you're looking in a few years. Of course, everything goes up, right? The salary cap goes up. The salaries all go up. So, I mean, if you're looking in a few years, Evan Neal could be looking at 20, even if he's not quite the same caliber that Andrew Thomas is. Evan Neal could be looking at $23.5 million per season. It is generally true that teammates are thrilled when one among them cashes in. The rising tide lifts all boats, the way of thinking. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's amazing because everybody says it's a tough place to play, says Darius Slayton, who signed his 2-year deal for $12 million. When it's not going well, it's like everybody sucks. Yep. So it's good to be on the other side of that thing. Yep. Obviously, we were able to win some games last year, and guys were able to perform at a high level, and they're starting to get rewards for the fruits of their labor. For me, it's like you see all the hours of off time they time they put in the film room, in the weight room. They're out here by themselves. So seeing that pays off for guys is awesome. Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, it's not, it's not like that for everybody. And I mean, but it's nice to see that, we got a core bunch of guys, and we're signing them, we're keeping them for long periods of time. Now, of course, the problem is, I mean, you start looking, if you got Andrew Thomas, and if you're going to start signing Evan Neal, whatever, then your tackles could be costing you $50 million between the two of them. Then you got Daniel Jones at $40 million a year. Then I'm saying you got Sexy Dexy. And then, I mean, what's Kayvon going to cost you? I mean, are we going to keep Azeez Ojulari? And this is, I mean, and if somewhere along the line we actually go out and get a dog, a number one wide receiver, what's that going to cost you? I mean, so that's why it's so important to have these other guys on the team, hitting on these other guys, these lower, this 5th round, 6th round, 7th round draft picks and everything. Gettleman did leave some good. Yeah, he did. I did a video on that. I mean, so, we owe. I think we owe this guy, or either this guy I put in there, or we owe Dave Gettleman a small debt of gratitude, and some people still weren't up. I had a couple remarks on there. He sucks, or no way, or something like that. Some of these guys were not. So some of the guys, even though he drafted Saquon, right? Daniel Jones, Sexy, he's got some, he's got some good guys. He drafted some good. I mean, he drafted Azeez Ojulari. I mean, we had some good pieces there. But some people just. I mean, with the Golladay signing and Nate Solder and all that stuff and everything, Text a few minutes ago. I got to keep up. Oh. Yeah, So, I mean, some people just never forgive them. But then I saw, kind of wondering why. I mean, like, and nobody was even saying anything about it either, but they put Vernon Butler's got placed on the IR, and I was kind of wondering why they were bringing in a bunch of guys. You know what I mean? Like, actually, we brought in Cole Beasley. Like, why are we bringing in our 312 slot receiver? Why is that? Well, that's because we got a couple guys going on pup. You know what I mean? Why are we bringing in? We brought in some big bodied guys and all over the past week and whatnot, but that's because Vernon Butler's been having a problem. He got placed on IR for some reason. I have no idea. I mean, I don't even think he was even in mini camp. I mean, I don't think he practiced at all. Says the Giants made a pair, and one of them was they gave Ellison Smith a injury settlement. So they said they moved defensive tackle Vernon Butler from the reserve did not report list to injured reserve, and waived edge rusher Ellison Smith. So Ellison Smith's free to sign with anybody. I mean, buyer beware. Yeah. Butler, 6'4", 330, 7-year NFL vet, played in one game for the Giants last season, recording 4 tackles. Maybe I'm just thinking it might have been against the Eagles. I'm just saying maybe in the last game of the year. I don't know for sure. But he spent most of the season in the team's practice squad after being signed in November. I mean, just some good quality depth, somebody good to have on the practice squad. First round pick. It's just a shame. Yes, he gets picked in the first. It's just never, I guess, totally panned out for him. He was picked by the Panthers in the first round of 2016. Butler played 4 years with Carolina and 2 with the Bills before joining the Giants. Butler was never reported as injured once training camp began. And then somebody asked Butler on Thursday, head coach Brian Daboll said only that he and the Giants were working through some things. So he didn't. Actually, you know what he said? He said working through some things. The thing was, I sometimes when I'm listening to the video, the reporters in the background, that maybe their mic's not up or I can't hear them. So you hear like some real low voices. You don't really hear the questions. But I did hear Daboll saying something. They're working through some things, and I was saying to him, I was like, working with who? So I guess that answers the question. And, of course, Ellison Smith, the 4th round pick, who was never able to stay healthy with the Giants. Nope. reverted to the Giants' injured reserve list after going unclaimed when the Giants waived him this week. The injury settlement makes him a free agent eligible to sign with any team. So, I mean, once again, buyer beware. I mean, I don't know, whoever winds up signing him, whoever winds up signing him is going to. It's just amazing. I know it was 2019. He had played over 700 reps. I think 2020, I didn't check. I don't know. Northern Iowa maybe did not play, or maybe he didn't play. Maybe he held out because of COVID. Of course, then we got him in 2021, and, he played a little bit. He played in some snaps, but, he was injured. And then last season he was just injured. And I can't even talk sometimes. It's like, how are you injured? Seems like it's like I 365 days. What? I have a hard time putting words out there. It's just simply amazing. I get it. It's a contact sport and all this stuff, but guys have pulled hamstrings or stuff and it's like, it's just, I mean, if you put on a blue jersey, I don't know. Must be something about the color blue. I mean, just pulls your hamstrings or something. I mean, my God. Well, I think it was Judges last year. I think one of my videos they did, I think I called it the year of the hamstring or something. I mean, we had seemed like I was so many guys had hamstring injuries. It was just one. I mean, of course, Kadarius Toney was one of them. But I mean, just had one guy after the other with hamstring injuries. What the hell is going on? And nobody can run a route at all or not without pulling a hamstring. And say, what is going on? It's unbelievable. And I remember, because I think Joe Shane's first season, right, in 2020, he was. I think that their soft tissue injuries, I think, went down quite a bit. I think he was talking about that maybe kind of at the end of the season or somewhere, or maybe in the beginning of 2021, the soft tissue injuries had gone down a decent amount and all of that. But then in 2021, it just seemed like, who was our strength and conditioning? Got a bad job. Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name. I mean, they got a bunch of guys, I mean, one of them, obviously, they have strength and conditioning, but there's other guys, there's other people that do all kinds of stuff. I mean, Ronnie Barnes, I mean, he's been there since the 70s. He's not the strength and conditioning coach, but I mean, he's been there for a while. My God. I mean, I guess close to 50 years. I mean, he's very, very well respected, but I don't know. But our team MVP is that's got it. I mean, they keep him busy. They keep the guy busy. So then I think this Patty Trainer. She where are we at there? Breaking down Andrew Thomas's contract numbers. Says so basically the deal, it's an extension. It's 5 years. So we got him locked. This is his fourth season, right? Then we picked up his fifth year option. Right, so we got this year, and we got then an additional 5 years. So we got him for till 2029. It's unbelievable, because he had guaranteed salaries for 2023 and 2024. So 2024 beginning the option year of his rookie deal, which the Giants exercised, thereby making the salary guaranteed. Those numbers did not change at all. Thomas's cap hit this year came down a little bit, not too much. It's $9.29 million. He prorated bonus is $8.271 million, which includes the original proration from his rookie deal plus the new signing bonus, which goes into effect this year. Let's see here. In 2024, his cap number jumps up to $23.675 million. He has a $5 million roster bonus and up to $1 million in per game roster bonuses, $58,823 per game for each year of the deal starting in 2024. He also gets a $500,000 workout bonus each year of the deal starting in 2024. I mean, that's not bad. Come in to work out and get $500,000. Sign me up for that. The guaranteed money his base salary for 2023 and 2020, it dries up after. So the one thing is that if something like, say he gets injured or what, something bad goes, which of course we don't want to talk about or whatever, but they could pretty much get out of his contract after 2026, because basically it's kind of like with Daniel Jones. I mean, I know my group that I have, a lot of Eagle morons come in there, and you might get some moron Cowboy fans and stuff like that, and they'll post stuff or whatever. I see post stuff that they're laughing at, like the guaranteed money we're dishing out to Daniel Jones and this, that, and but I said, but the Giants can get out like pretty much almost like after 2 years. I mean, pretty much like all the guaranteed money is pretty much gone, right? Where the moron Eagles, they owe, they guaranteed, I think, Jalen Hurts like $190 million, and they're laughing at the Giants owe Daniel Jones like $80 million or something like that. Well, they're laughing at that, but they owe Jalen Hurts like more than twice that. And they're laughing at Daniel. They're laughing at the fact that we all owe Daniel Jones a lot of big money right up front. But it's because we can get out of it after a couple of years, unlike the moron Eagles who owe him like $3 trillion guaranteed money, and they've got it stretched out over. You know what I mean? But that's Howie Roseman, just kicking the money. So the numbers look good this year. But if you look down the road, oh my God, we owe Jalen Hurts $3 trillion in 17 years from now. Wow! But of course, they're not worried about that now. It's all about it's all about win now. So. But I mean, so in 2027 and 2029, he's eligible for $2.5 million roster bonus each year. Those bonuses will only be paid out if he's obviously on the roster. His prorated signing bonus will no longer count against the cap starting in 2028. So his signing bonus, they can stretch that out for 5 years, right? So I guess it's what, 24, 25, 26, 20, no, maybe it's 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So, I mean, his signing bonus, they do it for 5 years. So I guess the last 2 seasons in 2028 and 2029, his signing bonus does not hit the cap. So that's good. Thomas has $52 million in guaranteed salary, plus his, I think it's like whatever, it was like maybe plus his signing bonus. So his signing bonus and his $52 million guaranteed, that's the guaranteed money altogether that he's owed. Thomas' biggest hit against the Giants salary cap is next season, when he'll count for an estimated 9.2% against the team's total cap. The Giants are listed to have, now this is from Over the Cap, I think she has it. I do Spot Track. I can just follow that better. But Over the Cap is fantastic too. But I think she always, Patty Trainer always goes to Over the Cap. Since she has here, the Giants have just under $5 million of cap space, which should be enough to get them through the preseason and the first month or so of the regular season, which unfortunately is the third lowest total in the league. So unfortunately, but let's see. Where do I have? Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. So this season, yes. Yeah, so, I mean, I was kind of hoping that maybe they could do something like, which would give the Giants a nice chunk of change, as far as with some salary cap. Extend Andrew Thomas and somehow take his cap hit and drop it down to like $5 million or something like that. But that didn't wind up happening. I mean, his cap came down. It's $9.291 million. So the Giants saved a little bit from his cap hit this year, but it wasn't quite what I was hoping for or whatever. I was kind of hoping maybe they could do something with Andrew Thomas and sign Saquon to a long-term deal, right? And then take Saquon's cap hit of $10.1 million this year and drop that down to whatever, $5 or $6 million. So if they could save $4 or $5 million on Saquon and $4 or $5 million on Andrew Thomas, then they would have like well over $10 million in salary cap space. Then maybe they can go out and maybe, work a deal with somebody else. Maybe bring somebody else in to help the team. But it is what it is. But it's what she said, yeah, like, because Andrew Thomas, $9.2 million this year. 2024, Andrew Thomas, $23.675 million in salary cap. What is it in 2025 here? 2025, Andrew Thomas, 20.9. Okay. So you got to look at like, Yeah, so actually it came down. I mean, it came down. Actually, he's cheaper in 2025 than it is in 2024. But so you look next season, okay? Daniel Jones's cap hit is $45 million. Andrew Thomas is 23, almost 24, and Dexter Lawrence is 21, almost 22. So you got, what is that, 45? Basically, between those three guys, between Daniel Jones, Andrew Thomas, and Dexter Lawrence, you got almost $90 million. If I'm, 45 and 45, $90 million between the three of them. So that's a big chunk of change that we're dishing out there. Oh yeah, the cap always goes up. Yeah, Shane is creating cap flexibility movement. Oh yeah. I mean, he knows what he's doing. Lord knows he ain't watching my show. What's that Jeff Wicks dude saying about the cap? I got to get some hinters from him. What's he saying? I ain't telling him nothing. I mean, he's been in the NFL for a long time. He learned a lot from was it Brandon Beane from Buffalo? I mean, he's he absolutely he knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? So, of course, the cap keeps going up, and one of these years, I know the cap's supposed to go up quite a bit. Let me. I don't know if there's any. Let's see here. Adjusted salary cap. Okay. Well, Spot Track. That's all I'm going. Next season. That's all I'm going by. And this is just some type of maybe guesstimation. They have the salary cap could be 240 next season. Once again, that's a guesstimation. Then they have this. Then somehow, I don't know if a new TV deal comes in or what it is, but according to Spot Track, I didn't look it over the cap or not like that, but I think there's a new TV revenue coming in. So once again, Spot Track, possibly a guesstimation because it's not locked in there, obviously. But in 2025, they got the salary cap at like $294 million. So they got the salary cap going up over. I mean, if it's 240 next year, once again, a guesstimation to 294, we're looking at over $50 million in one season. I mean, you talk about now. I mean, I mean, the salary's going up. I mean, you got almost 300. I mean, whatever it is, 228 now. I think it is 220. I mean, so between a court, once again, that's a guesstimation. They know a lot more than I do. They know a lot more than I'm ever going to know. I mean, as I said, it could be a TV revenues or something like that coming in, going up almost $70 million, the salary cap in 2 years. I mean, we're going to have guards making like $80 trillion in a season. I mean, it's going to be absolutely silly, because the one thing is, it's like when these teams, right, have all this money to spend, right, whatever. Say Carolina, I mean, they could have $212 million in salary cap to spend. I mean, they could go out and they want, say, Zach Martin's really pissed off at the Cowboys, right? And Carolina, wants to get or whatever. Let's get that guard. I mean, it's going to really help, which it would. To get Zach Martin's attention, to get his eyes. Carolina just offered me $24 million to be a guard for a season. Where do I sign, right? I mean, they can just, now all of a sudden the guard market, boom, goes up to 24 million, right? I mean, whatever. Anybody, you get Micah Parsons, right? Right. All of a sudden he's not happy with the Cowboys, this, that, or the other thing. Things get a little crazy. He's not happy. They're not winning. He just, I want to, whatever. He's not happy. I mean? So he tweets something, of course, like all the NFL players do. Yeah, get me out of here, something like that, right? So Jerry's ticked off, or so Micah doesn't want to be there anymore. So you have one of these teams like, I don't know. I'm just saying, say Denver stinks, right? And they have $200 million in, right? And all of a sudden they call him and his agent or whatever and say, yo, Micah Parsons, what do you think? We throw $45 million a year at him, or you think, I mean, right? So now all of a sudden, that market goes up to 45, or you have a battle for quarterback, right? They're making what 52 now. I mean, that's the going rate. Burrow come in, he'll beat more than Justin Herbert did, and somebody will come in and beat them, and then beat them and beat them. I mean, so who's going to be the first $60 million a year guy, huh? Right. So I mean, unfortunately, I mean, it's good for the ball players, but I mean, yeah, whatever. It is what it is. But I mean, that's when things start going kind of crazy. So that's going to be interesting in a couple of years when the salary cap possibly maybe goes up to almost, I mean, according to them, $300 million. I mean, geez, the Tabby never was attached to the cap. Yeah. So, but then Shane is creating cap flex. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's doing good. Now I seen, and I always remembered this here, and this always, I mean, just like the way things are like nowadays with the way the NFC East, I said, it has a lot of that when I was growing up in the 70s and the 80s, it has a lot of the feel to it. Like the Giants, I mean, we're on the bottom, not on the bottom, but we're whatever. We're last year we were third, right? But we're in the 70s, we're pretty much, except for 1972, we came in third, but we had a winning record. And then in 1970, we came in second place. We were one game behind the Cowboys, who were 10-4, right? But other than that, pretty much the Giants were almost in last place, like almost every year, looking up. And it's like we're trying to regroup and obviously get better, and we're looking up at these guys that we can't beat, And I said it's like the way it is right now with the freaking Cowboys and the Eagles. I mean, you look, with the Giants and the Cowboys. I mean, do you realize since 2017 the Giants have beaten the Cowboys one time? I mean, and then somehow the Giants beat the Cowboys 3 times in a row. 2015 and both games in 2016, they beat them 3 times in a row. But I mean, if you go back, this is the last 20 games: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, out of the last 20 games we played the Cowboys, we've beaten them 4 times. So they're 16-4 against us in the last 20 games. I mean, it reminds me so much, once again, of the 70s and the early 80s, because back then, I mean, the Giants beat the Cowboys in 1970. They beat them 23-20 at home. Do you realize from 1971 to 1980, 10 seasons, the Giants never beat the Cowboys at home. 10 straight seasons, the Giants did not beat the Cowboys at home. I mean, it just has like it's like we just can't beat these freaking guys. How are we going to, I mean, it just pissed me off so much back then. The Giants beat the Cowboys 2 times. Somehow they beat them both times. Well, I'm sorry. They beat the Giants beat the Cowboys 3 times in the 70s. That's in 20 games. The Giants beat the Cowboys, and one of them was the second game. They lost them in the first game. They played them in 1970. They lost 28-10. So the second time they played them in 1970 was at Yankee Stadium. They won 23-20. They were down 20-9. They came back. They scored 2 touchdowns. They went up winning 23-20. So, but you figure, so that's the second game of the 70s. So the final 18 games of the 70s, the Giants beat the Cowboys 2 times, and somehow both of them were in Dallas. They beat them, was it 14-3? I'm sorry, they beat 1972. They beat them 23-3. Then they beat them 14-6 in 74. So basically 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, and 80, the Giants did not beat the Cowboys. It just has that, it's like we're just struggling to beat these teams. And now it's not like they beat us 2 out of every 3, maybe 3 out of, they're beating us. When you go 10 years in a row at your home and you can't beat a team, I don't care who they are. I don't care if they're Jesus Christ. I don't care. You go 10 years in a row at home. And I'm going to go over another stat with another team that I freaking despise. You go 10 years in a row at home and you can't beat a team. In your own division. As I said, it's got, because we have such a hard time beating the Cowboys. It just has that once again, that feels like, we're trying to build and build and build to beat these teams ahead of us, finally, thankfully, in the 80s, we finally beat them in 1981 in overtime. We beat them 13-10, which helped propel us into the playoffs. And then, of course, then we started beating them in the 80s. But then you start going, you go with then I'll say this team I can't stand for last. But then of course it has the feel it's not the way it is now, but it's kind of the way it is with the Giants looking up at these other two teams and we can't seem to beat. It has to feel good with Washington. All right. I know Washington was below us, right, last year and all. But if they ever get the quarterback situation straightened out, they can have a decent team as well, too. I think Rivera we're not talking maybe a Hall of Fame coach, but he's a very good coach. Very good coach. But it has that feel like same thing with what happened with the Cowboys in the 70s and 80s. It was the same thing with Washington. Once George Allen came over and started coaching the Redskins. Yep, I said it, Redskins, because they were called Redskins back then. He started coaching the Redskins in 1971. He beat the Giants 11 times in a row. 11 times in a row. And not only that, but when he coached the Rams from 1966 to 1970, he beat the Giants 3 times in a row. 1966, he beat the Giants with the Rams. 1968, 1970, he beat the Giants. So George Allen, who was when he coached against the Giants, the first 14 times he beat the Giants 14 times in a row. It wasn't until 1976, the second time the Giants played the Redskins, that they broke the the streak, 14 games in a row playing against George Allen. The Giants finally beat a George Allen coach team. Took them 15 tries to finally beat them. But in 1971, George Allen came in and he started coaching the Redskins. The second game of the season, the Redskins came into Yankee Stadium and they beat the Giants 30-3. Just totally killed them. So that started the streak, 11 games in a row. The Giants lost to the Redskins. Well, when he coached the Rams from 1966 to 70, he beat the Giants 3 times. Now, one of the games was in 1966, which is the worst season in Giants history. The Giants were 112-1. They gave up 501 points, which I think averages out to 7,296 points per game they gave up that season. It wasn't pretty. Well, the game that they lost to the Rams, they lost 55-14. Somehow, I don't even know. Somehow, if you go on YouTube, that was the NFL game of the week. I don't know who was smoking what. I don't know what they rolled up, what they sprinkled on there, and I don't know how fat that baby had to be and how long they smoked it and inhaled it and kept it inside and held it and held it for maybe an hour and let it. They must have been seeing all kinds of unbelievable things. Hey, let's make the Ram Giant game the game of the week. Yeah. I mean, the Rams won 55-14. The Rams had 500, and if I remember, I just saw this. I think it was 572 total yards of offense in that game. The Rams had 38 first downs in that game. 38. You know how hard it is to get 38 first downs in a game? 38 first downs. And now that's the game of the week. One of the Giants' touchdowns was they picked the pass off and ran it back 100 yards for a touchdown, 101 yards for a touchdown. The Giants, basically, the offense scored 1 touchdown. Okay, so obviously they picked the pass off 100 yards and ran it back for a touchdown. So what does that mean? That means the Rams were driving once again. So the Rams could have easily put over 60. Could have been like 62-7 if they didn't pick the pass. George Allen was just killing the Giants, absolutely killing the Giants. So once again, how we can't beat these teams above us. It just has that 70s and 80s feel to them. Then, of course, that leads me to my last team here, the team I despise the most. In all humanity, the Philadelphia Eagles, right? The Eagles. It was the same thing with the Giants. The Giants beat the Eagles 23-20 in 1970. Okay, no, 27. No, it's 20. No. What the heck was the score? I know they beat them at home at 1970. We got 30-23. I'm sorry, Ron Johnson ran in from like about 40 yards out or so. The Giants were just trying to move in the field goal range. It was 23-23. Giants were just trying to move in the field goal range, maybe get Pete Gogolak. But Ron Johnson took one off the tackle, right-hand side or whatever, just took it all away. And Giants wound up winning 1970. You realize from 1971 to 1981, that's 11 seasons in a row, right? If my math is right. 11 straight seasons in a row, the Giants did not beat the Eagles at home. 11 straight seasons. The Giants lost 41-28 in 1971. 1972 was the final game at Yankee Stadium the Giants played. It was 23-20. The Eagles were winning. Pico, the Giants, Norm Snead, I think it's Bob Tucker down around like the 10-yard line or so, whatever. The clock is running. The Giants had no more timeouts. Bob Tucker got tackled inbounds. The clock is running. Pete Gogolak's got to run onto the field. And his clock is ticking down. And Pete Gogolak is standing there. And I think they snapped the ball kind of like as time expired. And Pete Gogolak kicked it was an 18, 20-yard field goal, whatever it was, to tie the Eagles. So that was in 1972. So the Giants didn't lose, but they didn't win. So from 1971 to 1981, the Giants did not beat the Eagles at home. Unbelievable. And not only that, I mean, finally the Giants did beat the Eagles in 1975. First game of the season, they won 23-14 in Veterans Stadium. Craig Morton hit Ray Rhodes with like a 50-yard touchdown bomb with under 2 minutes to go. It was 16-14. And then he hit the touchdown pass to Ray Rhodes. And the Giants wound up winning 23-14. But the Giants beat the Eagles in 1972 on Monday Night Football. Okay, 27-12. That was the Giants' first ever win on Monday Night Football. But I mean, that was in Philadelphia. But from 1976, I mean, the Eagles won. Let's see here. I think it was 12 times in a row they beat the Giants. 19. Okay, the Eagles won in Shea Stadium. That's where the Giants played at home in 1975. So 1976. 1976, 77, 78, 79, and 80. And the first game of 81. And then the last game of 7. So the Eagles beat the Giants 12 times in a row. Once again, it's the same thing. It's just like, we're trying to catch these teams ahead of us. And let's see. What I mean, this is just this streak is just unbelievable here. So let me go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. All right, so 19. Right? 19? Yeah, we've got 19. 1. So I think the Giants have beaten them 3 times out of the last 19 games. So it was 16 or 3-16 against them in the last 19 games. As I said, it's the way it was back then. We just couldn't beat the Eagles for a longest time. And we especially at home, we couldn't even, at home, 11 straight seasons against the Eagles. We can't beat them at home. It's just unbelievable. And just the way it is now, it's just, we just can't beat these teams. It has that feel to it when I was growing up. We're trying to, these teams are, better than we are. They're and not only they're better, but we can't even beat them like ever. Right. I said the same thing. It just has that feel to it, but let me tell you what, when it finally starts turning around, and you finally start beating them, let me tell you what, it's an amazing feeling. And thank goodness for when Lawrence Taylor started coming around and showing up, obviously in 1981, that's when the Giants started changing things around, because Lawrence Taylor showed up, in 1981, we didn't beat the first game in his time that we played the Eagles in 81. We didn't beat them. The first time we played the Cowboys in 1981, we didn't beat them. But the second time we played the Cowboys in 81, we beat them. The second time we played the Eagles, we beat them. And that was in Philadelphia. Snapped the 12-game winning streak for the Eagles. And not only that, in the playoffs, that we went into Veterans Stadium and won 27-21. Oh, yeah. Game of the week with Tommy Brooks. Yeah. The gap has been closed. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. We had Ray Perkins, with, of course, but a lot of it had to do with Lawrence Taylor, but I just has that it was just like, I just, and the thing is when I was growing up as a kid, like in the 70s, I said, there was 11 games in a row we lost to the Washington Redskins and George Allen, 11 games in a row. I said, then we went like all of the 70s with the Cowboys. That's 20 games. We beat them 3 times. So we were 3-17 against the Cowboys in the 70s. And we beat them 1 time at home. And I said the same thing with the Eagles. The Eagles beat us like from 75 to 81, beat us like 12 times in a row. We're trying to catch these teams, and it just has that feel to it. It just so you know. Yeah. He was always, I mean, he was always the rah kind of guy and stuff like that and all and everything, you know. After the Redskins let him go in '77, he was supposed to be hired by the Rams, and I think he might have had a preseason game. He was with them or something like that. But some of the guys were starting to talk about like not coming or they're revolting or something like that. So they wound up letting him go. Because I mean, I guess I don't know. He wasn't for everybody. I know one thing. He didn't like rookies. He would trade away like his whole draft class to get veterans and everything like that. You know, the one thing is that he never had a losing season from 1966 until 1977. He never had a losing season. He went to one Super Bowl. They lost 14-7, but I mean, he never won a Super Bowl. You know, I know once they went to the Super Bowl with Al in 1972. I know after that they kept going. They went to. I think it brought up like 4 more playoffs, but I think they lost in the first round every time. They never got They never got to a champion. The 72 championship game. The Redskins beat the Cowboys 26-3 at RFK Stadium. That was just a rout. But after that, I mean, the Redskins, they would have winning seasons. They would get to the playoffs, and they would never win a game. They never got to it. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's when the Rams players didn't want nothing to do with it. Because the Rams had a good team back then. You know, especially back in '77. They had a good team. So I guess, I don't know. They didn't want him interfering with their chemistry or whatever it was. I don't know. But it was a good. Yeah, and then in USFL, his coaching career. Yeah. I know he also, I can't remember where he coached someplace in college. Let me small school in college he coached for. George Allen. And I guess it had to be in the early 80s. Let's see here. Where did he coach at? It was a small college. Long Beach State. Oh man, I'm smoking something here. Right? I see that right? Yeah. 1990. My bad. He coached for Long Beach State in 1990. Let's see here. I know actually, I think let me see. Does it say? Long Beach State. Let's see. He was where was he? Okay. He was the coach of the Rams in preseason. 1978, but the Chicago Blitz, 1983, the Arizona Wranglers in 1984. Then he was, basically took off or whatever. And then 1990, he came back. He coached Long Beach State. I don't think they had a very good record, but I know they won a couple of games. Let's see here. Oh, no. Is this it? Following several years out of the public eye, he accepted a 1-year offer to coach at Long Beach State University in 1990. The 49ers, which had managed only, I guess, Long Beach State 49ers, okay, which had managed only 11 wins against 24 losses their previous 3 seasons, responded to Allen's mentoring with a 6-5 record. Very impressive. Very freaking impressive. Following Allen's death, the team played 1 additional season in 1991 under Willie Brown, then dropped the football program. So I guess Willie Brown, maybe old man Willie from the Raiders, I guess. But that's why you never hear Long Beach State football anymore. So they dropped their program. But so they won. They were 11-24. I mean, once again, just to get, I don't know what it doesn't say here. Oh no, let's see here. Does it say? Then wait. With a 12-more record, a tiebreaker. I'm not sure if he had a losing record or not. During 84, Allen's Wranglers struggled early before finishing with a 10-8 mark. Okay, so they had a winning record. And then I'm not sure with the Blitz. I'm not sure if he had a winning record there or not. But just goes to show you. Right. He goes to Long Beach State. They had 11 wins and 24 losses in 3 seasons, 11-24. And he takes them, obviously they were, but they took them, they were 6-5. And just goes to show you, he coached 1 year. That was it. So he went there I mean, it takes, a lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of this, a lot of that, a lot of all that crap, all that stuff. And he took a Long Beach State 6-5. Unbelievable. I mean, you can hate him, and I hated the guy, but the guy won wherever he went. Absolutely freaking amazing. Let's see here. Let me see. Okay, he died. Let's see here. Oh, my goodness. Wow. According to this, he died in 1990, December 31st. So he must have passed away, at age 72. So, think about that. He was, I don't know what he passed away from. But you think about that. He coached Long Beach State, and basically after the season was over, he passed away. So the man passed at age 72. He's coming out. He had been out of retirement. He'd been in retirement for since 1984, after the 84 season. Right, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. So he'd been in retirement for 5 seasons. Nothing, basically. Out of the public eye and all that stuff. So they asked him for 1 season to coach, and he said, yeah. And then he coached them with 6-5 record, and he passed away. Simply amazing. Players hated his. Oh, yeah, he had a lot of, yeah. I remember just watching documentaries and stuff like that. He was very superstitious and all of that. I know at the Redskins at their training facilities or whatever, the trees around the field, he had them marked like maple tree. This was an oak tree. He would have trees marked. They would have a little label on them telling people what the trees were and stuff. He always had peanut butter and jelly for lunch. He'd take the crust off. Obviously he had milk and stuff. He had a lot of, he robbed the hotel rooms on the road, towels and soap. Did he really? No kidding. I guess yeah. It's people are like that, I guess. I don't know. But it's, it was what you were saying, like them or not, strange. Oh yeah. Well, that's why some guys just didn't like playing for him, Good coach. Oh yeah. As I said, this, that, that's how strange he was. But at the end of the season, you look back and you're like, hey, we had a winning record, So you got to appreciate it. Well, it's been 57 minutes. Jersey guys, I'll try to be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow, they got 3 days of training camp, right? Sunday, Monday. I didn't look to see what the schedules are. I'm not sure if they're all days. And then Tuesday might be Tuesday night, because Tuesday they're putting the pads on. They're going to be hitting for the first time. So Tuesday. So we'll have stuff to talk about tomorrow and Monday and certainly Tuesday. And I'll be listening to Patty Traynor, whatever she's got to say. So, Hall of Fame game. Yeah, I know. It's unbelievable, ain't it? Absolutely unbelievable. As I said, this is my favorite. I said July, because once that Hall of Fame game starts, it's just the Hall of Fame game goes, and then the next day you're watching highlights of the Hall of Fame game, and then before you know it, 2 days later, the Bears and whoever and the Broncos are playing someplace, and you're watching highlights of that, and then another game plays, and another game, and the Giants are playing. Then you got 3 more highlights of this. Then 3 or 4 or 5 days later, the Giants are playing again. You get some more then the preseason's over. It's like, what? What do you mean we're kicking off tomorrow against? It's just, and it just flies by so fast. It's unbelievable. Yeah, once that Hall of Fame game starts, it's on. And oh yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Who'd have thunk this 20, 30 years ago? Every preseason game now on the NFL Network. You gotta love it though. Unfortunately, I don't have time to watch all of that and everything like that, but it's unbelievable. If you got time for it and you like that stuff, boy, it's simply amazing. It really is. And what I like about it too is because you get to listen to like Bob Papa and Carl Banks. So whoever's doing the Minnesota games, you get to listen to those guys. You're not listening to the guys from Fox or CBS or whatever like that. You know what I mean? You listen to the actual the hometown teams. So I like that. It's nice hearing those guys and their voices and everything like that. Yeah, not much. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, as I said, I really don't watch much baseball. I don't watch much. I mean, as I said, because now with the YouTube channel, I put 2 videos out a day. I got the Facebook group. I got the Facebook page. I'm spending like probably at least 6 hours a day just doing that stuff. I don't have a lot of time, and not only doing that stuff, but then I'm listening to Big Blue Kickoff Live, right? Patty Trainer, whoever else I can listen to. So that's another couple hours a day. So I mean, to try to catch up on the Knicks or watch the Rangers or the Mets, those are my teams. I mean, I just don't have enough time for that stuff. Especially during hockey season and basketball season. Some of it because there's football on. So I said, unfortunately, there's only so much time in the day. I mean, baseball is okay, hockey, hoops, but football. Oh yeah, no, I mean that's it. I mean, on Sundays, I make sure 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock Sundays, I'm home watching football. Other than that, I mean, if it's in the middle of like June, I'm not home on a Sunday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm out. Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, I'll see you again tomorrow. So whoever spends any time, well, we reached 1 hour. There you go. Going down memory lane. So whoever spends any time watching me, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching and replay this, once again, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it from bottom of my heart. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.